Choose who can participate. Setting daily messages. Oh. Oh. Okay, well, here we are then. Yes. Before we go. Sorry. Still a little new at this. Okay, well, it should be. That looks good. Yeah, that's fine. Let's go with that. Okay. Sorry for being a bit winded. I am very tired right now, despite I had a monster day. Ugh. But yeah, it was a long one. Long, long, long day. And I'd like to discuss a little bit about that, if I may. On the driving in Southern California. I mean, seriously, what the heck, guys? I had just the other day. I had a car. You know, I'm driving down the freeway. The on ramp goes this way. Highway goes that way. A car comes in, goes around like this, literally this close, and then goes up onto the on ramp at the last possible second. As I was just like, oh, I'm like freaking out, looking at this display of damn killing both of us. I can see that the back tire is kicking up dirt. Dirt. Yeah. That's how close this guy is to the edge of the off ramp. And I'm just like, the hell? Like, he just had to get over. And I've had that happen to me like 3 times already. More seconds, he could have just taken the off ramp himself, but he had to get around me to get onto it faster, faster. And I'm just like, oh my God, like that could have turned into, I don't know, one heck of a multiple car collisions on the freeway if that just went completely wrong. But everyone keeps thinking, but you're so optimistic. That was the old joke in Drew Carey says that, well, the optimists were all so positive they could beat the train. Yikes. So, uh, so, but enough about near multiple car collisions. Let's talk about Ladybug. Yes, that's right. Ladybug and Cat Noir. Yes, I'm a fan. Right, stay centered. And, well, it has a lot going for it, and then it also has a lot not. Let's go with what is. Well, let's start with the premise. Ladybug, well, the Adventures of Marcus Ladybug and Cat Noir is a French-made cartoon, CG animated, and well, CG 3D animated, being specific here. Uh, it's a creator, basically, who's spearheading it now is Azric. I think his name was Thomas Azric. I think his name was. Sorry, my brain's a little melty when I'm done driving. My brain's all like, oh. Normally I have a bit of an energy drink with me to keep me peppy. But anyway, point is, Thomas Astrick is spearheading the TV series, his multiverse, I guess, I don't know, but other projects under the ZAG banner, and the movie, which had a final trailer that it's German that finally dropped. So it is confirmed we're going to get this in French and English next year, 2023, and July 5th. I looked it up. So after pushback after pushback after pushback. So yeah, fans are finally going to get that. So hopefully in select theaters, we're going to see that. So yeah, the TV series basically follows a girl named Marinette. Uh, it's a normal girl with a normal life, but something about me that no one knows yet, because I have a secret. And then the song, the theme song kicks in. I live a life that's full of fun. It keeps me sharp and on the run. What evil calls, I find a way to use my force and save the day. It's a very catchy song. I like it. And hold on a second. There we go. I want to make sure this is plugged in so I don't lose power on this thing because it has a very, very weak battery. Now, one thing you should know, it's very standard, like anime-y. So, even though it's made in France, it's clearly inspired by Japanese animation. Uh, or Japanime, as some of you old timers used to know it as. Anyway, the point is, so Marinette is a Parisian, that's what I called himself. Like, I'm wondering what the heck that was, and I believe it's just a citizen of Paris, France. And she goes to school chronically late because she's right across the street. I believe that because that's what my mother told me. She was, even though she literally lived right across the street from her school, she was always late. Anyway, so Marinette has starts her new grade. It's all screwy, whatever the translations, blah blah blah. So let's just say she starts a new grade at school. In high school, I believe it's now not middle school. I don't think. I believe it's high school. Again, it's however way it works, whatever have you. So she starts her grade. She meets Adrian. She thinks he's very handsome, but doesn't know like who he is. Um, it, she makes friends with Alia, and meets Chloe, the bane of the first few seasons of Ladybug. She was the main, well, other than the other main antagonist, Hawk Moth. Chloe's basically the instigator of a lot of the problems, because she would just come in like a terror, make someone unhappy, and then Monarch will say, and then now Evil Fi. There you go. Now you're a supervillain, which I'll get into for his motivations for that later. So, Marinette meets Adrian, thinks Adrian's friends with Chloe, so even if he's handsome, she's all like, no, I have nothing to do with you, move along. And she finds out that he is the son of Gabrielle Agreste, her favorite designer, and that he's a model. And so later on, Marinette is chosen by Master Fu to give them the miraculous of the Ladybug, which is creation, and he gives Adrian the cat miraculous of destruction, miraculous of destruction. So he can somehow feel that these are good people, or maybe he's been watching people for years and decades in France all along. I don't know. Point is, he chose them. They put on the miraculous. They become superheroes to stop the evil, dastardly Hawk Moth. So, after answering the hero's call and choosing their names, at the end, Adrian, they kind of make up. So Adrian hands Marinette his umbrella, even though she literally just lives like right there. Right there. He gives her the umbrella, and she kind of at that point just falls in love with him for quite literally the rest of the series. But at that point, that's when things go rather wrong for the series, because as I forget what it's called, episodic. When an episode starts, it starts off at 0, goes to something, and then goes back to 0 for the start of the next episode. So there's no real continuation between episodes. Overarching themes for the season is basically non-existent. So you could take season 1 and pretty much mix it up, and you wouldn't have any real difference. There might be some minor inconsistencies, but overall, season 1 has no overall story arc. The characters don't really learn anything other than in the episode they learn like a bit of a moral lesson, a little bit of to be more tolerant or not to be as afraid of something, but does it carry over to the next episode or episodes later on, or becomes a running theme with any one particular character outside of their uh, characteristics? No, no, it doesn't. Um, so you go through the entire 27 episode first season or whatever to kind of, I guess, expand the world, I guess. So you get their rogues gallery of supervillains. So it's like, okay, we have a rogues gallery of supervillains. Okay. Then season 2 picks up. Yeah. It's a lot like season 1, where the consequences of of they never actively try to hunt down Monarch. They never bother to find out where the butterflies are coming from or going to after Ladybug purifies them. For those of you in the know, so they don't know how to find Hawkmoth, where he is, do any scientific research on it whatsoever to kind of study if they can try to find his radius, to find his hideout. They know he's in France, but yeah, so did L. That where so did L know where Light was. It's like, yeah, he's in that city. Where or who, we don't know. It's like, come on, even L was able to narrow it down past that point. He said, yeah, I figured out what city you were in, and then after that, I narrowed it down furthermore due to deductive reasoning. So, season 2 basically comes and goes, and it's not really a whole lot of overarching stuff there. They suspect some people, but then it's like, no, 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 wait, it's not them, it's not them. Like, right, sure. And people trying to cover the tracks, much like Light and Albert playing this cat and mouse thing, a little bit trying to cover the tracks. So it kind of gets a little close every, at least once a season, where it's like, oh, you almost had me. So season 2, it's not much different from season 1. There's a little bit more of an over arc, like I said. A little bit more consistency, some similar themes and characteristics of other side characters do come in and back. But again, not very much. Season 3. Now you would think something would try to get going. In all this, there was the Christmas episode, which is pretty good. Nothing too memorable about it other than the singing. And the announcement of the movie. Right? And you would kind of like, okay, we can get going now. We did the world building. Go ahead, season 2. We're going to move along now. Right? Actually, no. Season 3 doesn't really do anything. Again, is a little bit more consistency and overarching story. But again, nothing really too much. Yes, there are more memorable episodes. Each season has more and more specific memorable episodes, other than Monster of the Day season. So it goes from Monster of the Day episodes from season 1 to more certain episodes are more like, oh man, that was actually touching. That was like, oh. And the problem is with the first 3 seasons of Ladybug is that it always goes back to 0. So in a couple of episodes where they learn each other's secret identities, is then magically erased due to time travel or by memory eraser. So you're like, oh, come on. Seriously? So now they're just back to how we were at the beginning of the episode. And that was really, really, really pissed off the fandom. Yeah. So we're like, get somewhere, you two. Because we're always rooting for 3 seasons already for these 2 crazy kids to just get closer together. Cat Noir is always chasing after Ladybug, praising her and just giving her this unconditional love and support, which he at times does help her when she feels down. But then outside of that, it's like, no, 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 no. I love this boy, Adrian. I'm not in love with you. I'm not going to give you the time of day, even though you can be romantic. Okay, so then season 4 comes, and again, it gets more specific, overarching themes. So it goes from episodic or episode Monster of the Day to character arcs. We see introduction of characters, reintroduction of characters, plot lines, things change. Ladybug becoming the guardian of the miraculous box. Her taking on more of a role. All these things happening. And the consequences are getting more and more. And we see in season 4 how the pressure of all that is starting to get to her. She's isolating herself. She's pushing everyone away. She has to let somebody in. Something has to give. And she finally tells Alia. Alia finally understands. Trying to create their own little Justice League-ish thing with their classmates. Part-time superheroes. That kind of sort of works. Okay, we got to get different people, and then we got to do this and that. So it's a lot of planning and a lot of breakup and bringing back together. And after Cat Blanc, we're like, Asterisk, my man, make it stick. That's all we ask. Give them the damn heartache. Let them remember. And I was like, okay, fine. So now in season 5, they are trying. The characters are now trying in the love square that they're in to try and meet one of them. One's in love with the both of them. Oh my god. So it's like just try and approach one of them for some reason, please just try. And they do, and they date for season 5. I'm not kidding you. Season 5, they finally managed to say, hi, can I like you a bit more than just a friend? Basically is what they're trying to do, but are not really working, because now they're working in the love square is now reversed. It's like that now. So it's like, oh dear. So they're not getting anywhere, but they're trying, and now they're remembering. Nothing is taken away. No time erasers like Cat Blanc or Ephemeral, or that memory eraser episode with Alia and Nino fused as one monster for some reason. Anyway, so there's no eraser back to zero now, which is what we've been demanding for 4 seasons, and Asterix finally sticking to that. Way to go, buddy. And we are now loving him for it, because now it's like, yes, the pain, the heartache, the joy, the victory, or supposed victory, and then the heartache. And it's like, damn. But it's still there. It's something to build on. It doesn't go back to zero. It builds on it and keeps going. And so right now we're getting some episodes that are out of order, and some episodes further down the line than we should have in the next few months. And it's looking really good. We're getting a lot of emotional mileage out of these characters. We're finally getting somewhere. These characters are actually getting somewhere. They're laughing, they're crying, they're seeing, what if I try this? Will that really work? Trust me, see it for yourself. It's pretty good. And it has the immediate fallout from the last season. It's continuation. It's like 5 seconds later, and this adventure starts happening. It's like, oh, okay, we're doing this now. Okay. So, yeah, there's a more continuation each episode. That's why we feel like, why are we getting these things out of order here and skipping some episodes later? It kind of feels a bit weird, but whatever. But it feels like you have to watch now in season 5. They're going up to like season 7, I think they said they're planning, but whatever. Each episode from season 5, from basically season 4 and season 5 are the most consecutive, where you have to watch episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, episode 4, in a chronological order to see the progression, or showed up. It's like, wait a minute, when was he picked? And then like an episode later, then he's showing him being picked. Like, that episode should have been over here then. So, but yeah, season 4 and 5 is a lot more consecutive of, episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, episode 4. So you can stay with it, and because it builds on itself. Each episode's decisions from the main characters build on things, so you see the fallout from the previous or events from the previous episode affect this episode, and then carries on into the next episode, which is what we've been wanting. So it's actually doing pretty well, all the way up to an actual date episode, finally. And it's very cute. It's very heartwarming. It is very, very moving and heartbreaking, and it's everything we wanted out of these characters. Just remember. That's it. And so we see all this, and it is awesome. We're going to go up to probably about Kwame's Choice, and then pretty much have a brief hiatus before they break out the rest of this series, I think for the later 2023. And then, yeah. And then, in July, the movie's gonna come out. So, yeah. That sounds like a very, very jam-packed year for Ladybug. Ugh, God. Oh, God. Oh. I'm tired. Driving for 6 hours really takes a lot out of you. Oh. Following a blue line is really draining. So. What else is there? Oh yeah, and some of the movies they've had, like the Shanghai, Shang. There's a couple of movies they had in there. There was the Christmas special. They had the New York special and the Shanghai episode. I think they call it Shanghai. I forget what the name of that city is, but yeah. So we've had 3 specials so far, and they said they're gonna have a couple others, like Ladybug in Brazil, Ladybug in Africa. Halloween themed. They were hoping that we've seen some promotional poster art, but I don't know what things becoming of that. But yeah, but basically we'll tour specials for the next 2 seasons. I believe are still going to be happening. Let's see what else. Not much else in Ladybug. There has to be some cartoon I can do more of these things. Let me be right back. Oh. Oh. Driving is a lot more tiring than it looks. Alright, I have a lot of junk in here. I got it. Here. Yes. Yeah, look at that. Check that out. This is a sword. Leave that there. Wobbly, but yeah. Yeah, check that out. So yeah. Thought this had swapped me for like $20 a couple years ago. Another one up here, another one over there. It's stuck. It's probably has a curved base on the bottom, so I probably won't be able to get it out because some stuff's on top of it. Neat, huh? got it for its design. So it looks really, really fancy. So I thought I'd get it. So, oh, oh boy. Let's see what else do I? What else do I have that's uniquely interesting? Yeah. Hmm. Time fighters. Magic. Yeah. There was a. What was it? I'm sorry, my brain's melty. Uh, Time fighters in the land of fantasy. That's just it's again they took like a 65 episode series, what people do, especially back in the day. They would take a 65 episodes and they would cut it down and make like OVAs and movies out of it, pretty much. So um, Time Fighters was one of my first reviews over 10 years ago, like 12 years ago. Like, I made that back in 2010. Um, yeah, it's been a long time since I finally got the other release, which was, because there would be the timed episodes where, they go back in time to certain places in time, and then this one is where they go into the fantasy time, and they just explain it as this. Just fantasy time, so we'll just do that. And so it's like Once Upon a Time. It was like really ridiculous. Uh, from ABC's Once Upon a Time, which is now owned by Disney. Like But anyway, yeah, it's has some music in it. It's weird music, but it's okay. It it might be a bit slow in some parts, especially with some of the songs. It doesn't feel like it's really progressing the plot. It feels like it lingers just a little, well, too long. It just feels too long because they don't really do anything with some of the songs. They kind of more because it's a lot of it's stock animation where it's like, we'll just do a pan. It looks like motion, even though the picture itself is stock still. That kind of stuff. Um, they'll put in the animation into the actual more interesting shots that are necessary to be a bit more interesting. But if there's a shot that doesn't need specialized animation, they just leave it as such as just a still frame, you know, and just do the lip flaps. Uh, then there was Zelion. Uh, I got the stuff for like $10, $5. It was dirt cheap. Um, Zelion. Zelion is an OVA that spans like 5 volumes plus the bonus Burning Night. Buddy. Uh, yeah, it's a futuristic, post-apocalyptic kidnapping OVA with some overall war. It was all. It's like everything. Like they just threw everything into a bowl and said, "Here." Uh, it's not too stylized ish. It's kind of more of a not mad, but like it's kind of more a standard stock 1980s OVA. So something too specific about it or wow about it. The animation's not that high quality. It has some quality to it, but not a lot. So it doesn't feel like they put too much money into this. So it's a bit on the cheap side, stylistic wise. They didn't come in with the name brand designer for the technology or the characters, not like in, Megazone 2 3. They actually put some money into that. This, not so much. If you want good contrast, that or, what was it? Bounty Dog, which is another OVA, which makes no real sense whatsoever, even though it was dubbed really well and had some pretty decent animation to it. It made no real sense. Just saying. Eh, some other OVAs. Puss in Boots. Travels around the world. Oh god, that was one. Puss in Boots. And then there was Sherlock Hound. That was a 6 episode thing I had. It had a ton of adventures taken pretty much almost verbatim at times from just Sherlock Holmes storylines, and some of them were pretty good that were originals. Uh, so I recommend Sherlock Hound. I have the dub. I don't know if that's going to be the dub now. I don't know. These things are old. These are older titles. Sakura Diaries. My God. That is an early 2000 thing. I got that along with Aoyashi back in the 2001, 2003 thing. Oh, God. Sakura Diaries. It was one of the first times I came across the the concept of the pervert with a heart of gold. Okay, in Cartoon Network, they usually when they got their afternoon block and Saturday mornings block, Saturday night, Adult Swim, those were different. And what they would do is that they would put the superheroes on weekday afternoons. The Ronnie Kenshin's, the hero from Gundam Suit Wing. Uh, what was it? Yeah, sorry, I said Ronnie Kenshin. Yusuke Urameshi, you know, Inuyasha. No, wait, sorry, back up. Inuyasha was Saturday. Sorry. Zoe or whatever. I can't remember them all. Tenchi Muyo. But basically, they had the hero and kind of anti-hero characters, people you would root for. People with struggles and problems and seeking redemption. But basically, sorry, excuse me. People you would root for. Positive role models for the teenagers who would be home by that point, by 3 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon, going into 5 and 6 or 5, because it was a 2-hour block, so it's 4 until 5. Anyway, so and Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z. Then they evolved further on into the stuff that is now for the past 12 years when it was off the air for a while. Yeah, for some number of years. Anyway, for 5 years. But on Saturday, what they would do is that they would have the more experimental stuff, the more adult stuff, Cowboy Bebop, you know, um, the more out there anime. Yeah, that was for Saturdays and the weekend animes at night. Adult Swim and all that. Um, they actually did show. I believe I'm not 100% sure, but I believe they showed. Along with Pretty Cuddy, they showed Kentaro Oe from Golden Boy. I think. I'm not 100% sure, but I think Kentaro was also on Adult Swim. I would have to look it up. I could be perfectly wrong. It was a long time ago, so I could be wrong. But basically, Sakura Diaries is a lot like Kentaro Oe. When you first meet these characters, you're like, what is this? He's not, this hero like would be presented to you on Adult Swim, or a wild out there character like in Cartoon Network or Adult Swim. There would be this guy on the home video market, like Golden Boy, like Sakura Diaries, never seen on television before. So then the heroes or the anti-heroes, you see the pervert with the heart of gold, which was Kentaro Oe and uh, what's his name? Doma. That's his name. Doma. They tried to pronounce it two different ways. I never got the difference, honestly. Toma or Doma or something like that. I don't want to get into that, but basically this guy goes to college, finds out he doesn't get in, goes into an intermediary prep college so he can take the course again the following semester. But in order to impress the hot chick, and she is the hot chick, who is not stuck up or anything, she's actually a really nice person. To impress her, he fakes it and pretends that he got in, even though he didn't. Um, so, and on top of that, he now has this girl invading his space, because of course, why not add to that? This girl invading his space who keeps saying she's there for reasons, and then he finds out, oh wait, you mean you're the girl from last night and I have to live with you now? And basic shenanigans ensue on that. Them learning how to live together, forming this bond, him realizing that the girl from the college is literally out of his league, but she kind of likes him or is open up to the concept of him, because even though he did lie, he tried really hard to not take advantage of that possibility, just to say, yeah, I'm here with you, even though he really wasn't. But she says in the monologue, her last monologue, is that at least he was someone who tried to, even though he lied, he tried to just be a good person around her. He was just a good guy who just didn't want to be weak or lacking in her presence, but she can understand that. She doesn't really condone his actions, but she at least understands him and appreciates that he is a good man. But anyway, the roommates, the two roommates of Sakura Diaries, basically ends on a cliffhanger. It shows them running together, him chasing her on the beach, giggling and laughing, going to freeze frame, and then saying the end. That's it. Nothing more to it. I heard that it might be a definitive edition where they add a few extra scenes. I really doubt that's going to add anything to the end. I don't think it. I think I saw it at in the library, and I rented it, I think, some years ago, and it was the same ending. So if it does have a different ending, let me know. But yeah, you want to see the DVD? But, all right. Let's see. Let's see if the cases aren't too risque. Let's see what we got here. No. The first one was VHS. Yeah, this looks pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, that's over. That's 22 years old right there. I'm talking about the DVD, not the woman. But she probably is 22. Who knows? Or was she no. She's a high school student. She's 18. I remember now. Yeah, she was in high school. He was in college. But basically, yeah. There's something really hot between these covers, it says. Yeah, real hot. Character design is really good. Doesn't look cheap. Much like All for Marie, it does show, like, people with good personalities and at least reasonably good intentions, can achieve something in life, can get a girl. Maybe not the girl they started out with, but a girl. Much like, what was it called? More Than Friends, but not quite lovers yet, I think it was called. The one where the two crazy kids have to live in a dorm room together for a semester in order to... damn, this blanket's all lumpy. There we go. In order to get married pass the class, they have to learn to get along and almost fall in love with each other, which then they do. I don't know, the series is still ongoing. So, there's that. And not much else. Neo Ranga is Interesting premise. Not much there. I have trailers. I have trailers over here of the various different animes. I love watching these things. They had really cool, soundtracks and visuals for the teasers and the trailers and stuff back in the early 2000s. I love getting these things at conventions and in magazines and stuff. It's really sad when they stopped doing that. Because you could just watch 20 minutes of trailers and just be like, oh. I even got, I forget what it's called off the top of my head, but it is the collection of anthology shorts, basically. Various different animes where people were just saying, here, go nuts. Something. Oh, yeah. AMV Hell 1, 2, 3, and possibly 4. I'm not sure. But I have 1, 2, and 3. And it's just insane. I think I'll watch those again after this. Because it's a lot of fun. It really, really is. Oh, here's something. One of the first idol projects I came across, other than Lin Min Mei from Macross, which is right here. We go. Come on, no, stay there. Wait, what is this? Oh, right. That's that. Okay. Chance Pop Sensation, Session 2. Basically, this is an idol story. I haven't seen it in years, and basically 3 idols come together and train to be the best idol they can. Basically learn how to sing and stuff. Go to a singing competition and sing. Basically, that's what the whole thing's about. I think it's like 3 volumes long. It's not very big. It's like 10 episodes or whatever. 9, 12 episodes, something like that. And, oh, sorry. Ugh. Long day. Whew. Oh. Here's some classics. Monster Rancher. Clinging to the coattails of Digimon, we had a lot of these come out, such as Meta ba 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 ba. Yeah. When Digimon hit the stage, people saying, we need more like that. So, this was on channel... Yeah, these were on channel 13 afterwards. Yeah, this was on UPN. This was on channel 9. So 13 and 9. And, if I remember correctly, or maybe they were both on channel 13, I forget. But they were on the side channels, and they weren't on Fox or ABC. So they were not on channels 2, 4, 7, or 11. They were either on 9 or 13. Because those are the more side channels, like with Technomans, where you see the side stuff that doesn't go mainstream. That's why not too many people know about Technoman, the TV series. Yeah, so Monster Rancher is, well, an isekai. What's his name? Genki. What's his name? Genki. Yes, the kid's name is Genki. He's a rollerblading ball of energy, this guy. He gets a new video game, which then sends him to another world that's like the video game, because he gets summoned. And he helps fight the bad guy, basically, and it's 2 seasons long. Season 2 basically retreads Season 1, that whole thing where it's like, we'll just do the same things we did before. And it's like, is that really a bad idea? But so yeah, Season 2 feels like a lot of a repeat of Season 1. So basically, if you want to just end it pretty much on Season 1, that's fine. it leaves you with a good taste in your mouth. Genki is kind of forced afterwards. That after the sorry, I got hair and stuff all over my face or something. Sorry. Genki is forced back to Earth, so it's a bit sad, but it feels like, well, where else was he going to go? It's like he's not going to stay there, after the adventure's over. But there was no real choice to it. It was just more of, well, your time here is done. At least that's what the plot says, or whatever the story says. So he just kind of gets forcibly just shoved back into his world uh, by some sort of cosmic force or something or other. I don't believe it was ever a decision on his part. Metabots is just more of not mech, but robot, pretty much. And yeah, it's this guy Iki Kawasawa, I think it is. Yeah, Iki, and he is poor. He's a poor man, and he saves up his money to buy a Metabot, and a frame called a Tin Pat, and he finally gets his Metabot during a battle, and they butt heads. They do not get along. But all the Metabots are more subservient than Iki's. Why is Iki's different? Because Iki found his metal, the robot's brain, whatever, in a little metal thing. It looks like a coin, octagon coin. Um, in the river. So he puts that in the Metabot, and now his personality is a lot more independent. He's a lot less subservient than the others, Metabots of his kind. So their bond through the series becomes more and more genuine. Um, there's all secrets about who created them, the previous society, prehistoric society, blah blah blah, and all this stuff. They eventually gets kind of illuminated at the end of the series, and I'm just like, what the hell am I watching? Sometimes it gets a little weird, and a little intense, and a little dark, but it always stays lighthearted. These all have these are '90s fallout of '90s cheese stuff where they have gung ho sayings and upbeat stuff, you know, good comebacks. Always in Metabot's case, always followed by if there's ever a cheesy line or joke or anything like that, it's followed by a guitar sting. Oh god. Plus there are no stickmen. Ugh. And Iki's mom in Metabots is literally the most endearing character in the whole series. She's hardly ever in it, but when she gets kidnapped by the evil rubber robo gang, she gets just tied up, and she notices that one of her captors has a torn suit, and he's like, excuse me, Mr. Captor, sir, I hate to bother you, but there's a tear in your suit. It's like, oh. Then she just, kind of takes over the whole place and, mothers the whole thing, where she fixes all their suits, makes them, this most delicious, broth ever, and they're all in love with it, so they don't have the heart to be mean to her at all. It's like, I just can't be mean to her. She's just too nice. She's a doll in that series, and a few times she pops up. And there's the referee who they always find, because the referee has to keep following up in Zoids. There was this always this annoying thing because they always have to recycle the animation. It was like, here's the standard stock animation from whatever this character has to come in every episode. They had mechanical refs come in. They would fall in on satellites and give, okay, and fight. Winner goes to, and then they would leave. And they would do that for almost every episode. In Metabots, when the referee would show up, he would always come in I'm sorry, he was coming in the most imaginative way. So he doesn't just come in the same way where he just suddenly appears. He does suddenly appear, but it's not always. He just walks on screen. He comes in on a Zeppelin. He comes in with I don't know what it was, some sort of homemade dummies all tied together so they all move in unison with him. He pops up from some sort of underground something or other, or he comes in on a life raft rowing. So he comes into scene, like he always finds his way to the battlefield somehow, some practical or impractical way. He just finds he's able to get this. Like it's like he's able to anticipate where there's going to be a fight, so he's able to just get there just barely in the amount of time. I think once he was kind of late, like they're kind of like, wait a minute, where is he? Oh, wait, here he comes. I think they did that gag once, just once. I think. I'm not sure, but it was really good. Oh, in Zoids, they only did break up the monotony of the here comes the Robo uh, ref when they had the dark refs come in and kind of take over the final one of the preliminaries or whatever for a story arc before they were defeated. So that was a difference. So at least I had that. I think that's enough. I think I need to go wash my face. If I have anybody at all, still 00. Almost been an hour. Alright, I'm gonna give it 9 more minutes and then that'll be it. Now, the teaser trailer for this next anime apparently did more in 10 seconds than Kevin Smith could do for over a year. Which just tells the truth. Ghost in the Shell to Innocence. They're probably wondering, but Greg, how can Ghost in the Shell to Innocence tell more truth than Kevin Smith could? Well, I'll tell you. Because in the teaser trailer, what it says is, with the Major gone, can Bateau stand the tide? That's it. That's it. Could Bateau stand on his own 2 feet and deal with the weird, wacky stuff as it comes along without the Major? That's it. That's the whole premise. And the Major only shows up when things got dire in the end, where it's like, okay, now I have to step in, you know. As opposed to just like wandering into scenes, kind of just like, well, whatever. I'm on a Sunday stroll or whatever, you know. But yeah, that's the premise. Can Bateau do what he needs to do? Can he do his job without the Major? You think, but wait. I know. But those of you who don't know, the audience who don't know, Kevin Smith and his infinite wisdom, I don't know, maybe he's getting old, maybe he didn't want to, you know, admit fault or something, I don't know, I'm not a biographer, I wasn't there, but what I do know is that people on the channel of Clownfish were getting slammed for finding out the truth, that months before He-Man, I do that with air quotes because this is not, they build it as the sequel to the cartoon series, which is a lot of bull malarkey, because I haven't seen this in decades. By the way, this goes back to when I was 4, but there was, even at that point, I noticed the difference between the cartoon series and the color comic book. Yeah. They say this is the sequel, the spirited sequel to the, well, they say not say spirited, but more of a sequel to the TV series. Problem with that, it's not the TV series animation style or storyline really, it's the comic book. I'm not kidding you. So, with that out of the way, okay, fine, it's the art style from the comic, not the TV show. Alright. Clownfish then gets, you know, this behind the scenes info leak from one of their associates saying, so what's the premise? What's it about? All we got is that it's about He-Man and all the other classical characters will be coming back. Cool, and it's a bit more of a resolution, at least a little bit. Okay. What is it about? Exactly. Well, at least a little bit more. And he says, oh, it's the Tila show, basically. If you want to boil it down to something, it's just a Tila show. They're like, the Tila show. What about He-Man? Oh, he's in there. Yeah, you can see him. He's right there. And then, yeah. It's just a Tila show. Okay. So then they tell us, months in advance. So yeah, so we're getting confirmed insider information from one of our friends that that the He-Man show isn't going to be about He-Man. It's going to be the Teela show. Now, of course, Kevin Smith hearing this just starts slamming them, saying, liars, no, no, liars, no, no, no. And Conflict is like, no, we got to confirm source here. We're not lying. Why would we lie? Wouldn't make any sense. Months go by. First half of the show comes out. Well, after the end of the first episode, spoiler alert, He-Man dies. Teela then feels offended and, betrayed because they didn't let her in on the secret, because it's a secret identity. There's only, like, her dad's like the only one who knew. The mom suspected, and everyone else is pretty much everyone else. So then it's like, oh yeah, they're in the show, so yeah, they gotta know. Ranger knew. Orko knew. Lady who gave him the powers knew. Outside of that, no one. And it's a secret identity. We can't just willy-nilly just tell people, Otherwise it wouldn't really be a secret, now would it? So, He-Man dies, saving the universe, but also thus dooming us all. Teela pulls a henchman 21 and then says, screw you, screw all of you, I'm out. Or at least Brock Sampson, screw you, I'm out. And then, time jump, she has a somewhat, it's implied, maybe if you look, look really, really close and squint and tilt your head with your X-ray specs, you might see that she might have a gay best friend. Or a platonic gay best friend, I don't know. But they both have sideburns. My ears are ringing. That's probably not a good sign. Anyway, they both have sideboards, I think they call them. And, boy, that ringing is getting louder. And they go on different quests. She becomes like a bounty hunter-ish, the best in the land, and she meets where she learns, oh wait, maybe if I got off my ass and actually did the right thing 4 years ago, we wouldn't be in this impoverished state we're in now, where the planet is dying. She was told this, but she was too busy brooding and being an emotional jerk. It's like, shouldn't you put the world's gonna die in a few years, they told you? I don't care, I'm too busy feeling betrayed by this handsome hunk and this dorky kid over here, which apparently were the same guy. I couldn't possibly put the connection of that long blonde hair together. Silly me. Yeah. So He-Man does come back. The show does everything it can to promote Teela as being a total badass and awesome, and to have Prince Adam be a tag along at best when he's reintroduced into the story. Basically, girl power and men suck. Yeah, that's basically the sum up if you watch the whole series. The ending is more of the girls fight than the guys are there just to kind of beat each other up to not really gain anything. The girls are actually fighting anything for stakes, really. And that's about it. And then the day is saved again. The end. Yeah. So trust me when I say if I'm not singing this thing's praises, it is not very good. I mean, the action scenes are awesome. Don't get me wrong. The animation is pretty good for the stylization it's going for, because it harkens back to the earlier days. Sure, fine. But if your story says, girls rule and men suck, and it does that hard, it's not a very good show. It really, really, really isn't. It's just not a good show. It's female toxicity at its finest. work for that. It didn't work for She-Hulk. You know, it's not good for anybody. All right, well, that's an hour, and still no one. Well, all right. Well, take care, all, and maybe next time I'll have a different anime to talk about. Maybe I'll talk about this for next time. Maybe tomorrow at 8, I'll talk about this one. I Dream of Mimi. Yeah, maybe I'll talk about that, or Mazen de Eku. I'll talk about Mazen de Eku. Or Chobits. Maybe we should talk about Chobits. You know, come on, give me some ideas. You know, pick an anime. I probably have it. Or ask me, do I have this? And you know, could I do a review? Or if I heard about it, or seen it, or know some background info. If there were anime out there, one I have on my phone that's incomplete. Is it the one that's based on the girl band, or Psychic Kids, or Dreaming Kids, I believe is what it was called at the end of the movie, for Paprika. That's an interesting one. Paragate. Dang it, what's that girls band? You know, they're not gonna get us. Something Paragate, and you know that's gone. That was in production, but that's probably in some dustbin somewhere. You know, that unfinished thing for episode for Techno Man. You know, there are undeveloped anime out there that were just, you know, ended. Megazone was this close to being tossed in the dustbin like the others, but they're in the middle of the 12 episode OVA or TV series at the time, and you know the toy manufacturer pulled out last minute, so they just shrunk it down to an OVA and beat Delos out by a month, making it the first OVA of its type. But yeah, Megazone was close to being a trash project until they said, collapse it down, edit like crazy, and let's just make this work. And then we'll just completely rewrite this, and we'll here, shove in some space shots, so we'll know we're on a starship in space. There, boom, done. And we are awesome. Talk about thinking on your feet. They pulled this together rather well. You know, I didn't know about this until like way later when I watched the director's commentary on a different audio track or different dubbing of it. You know, you learn all this stuff that was originally a TV series, but then it ended up becoming the first OVA out because due to a toy company pulling out on them in the middle of production. So some things get saved, and they're able to be quick-witted and smart enough to, you know, edit this down into something else, and then sell it. Good for them. So yeah, maybe next time we'll talk about some abandoned project or something. Alright, that's it for me. I gotta go, and still nothing. Alright, as always, see you at the movies. Bye. Come here.